What up, what up, what up? This is Ebony Stewart. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Button Poetry, book release for none other than Rachel Wiley. We are promoting this book, Fat Girl Finishing School and Nothing is Okay, because guess what? It's not. It's a pandemic, y'all. Anyways, y'all give it up for just the fact that you're here, that you're present, that you're about to hear some amazing poetry, that you even like poetry. Maybe you don't know how to read. Okay. I hope that's not the I hope that's not the truth. But maybe you don't know how to read. Maybe you just don't like reading. You're going to get an opportunity here from three amazing artists, one of them being our featured poet, Rachel Wiley. So let me give you a little breakdown. We will be running a $5 off coupon, right? For both of Rachel Wiley's books, Fat Girl Finishing School and Nothing is Okay. That's $5 off. You like, what? I appreciate you because it's a pandemic. And also, like, $5 off is just, you know what I mean? I felt like I should have got that $5 for free anyway. So we gonna give it to you, okay? But poetry coming through, $5. And anyways, you also can just use the code Wiley5. Now, maybe you don't know how to spell Wiley. Wiley 5. The number five, five fingers, $5 foot long, whatever you got going on, just check it out at buttonpoetry.com. Yes. Also, I know I don't have to tell you all this, but there is a virtual tip jar. You're going to be hearing from some amazing poets. You're going to be hearing from Ebo Barton. You're going to be hearing from none other than Golden. And we want to make sure that these poets feel loved. Now, we don't mind that you have hearts going up because your hearts should be flowing right about now. We don't mind the likes, the shares that you're sharing this screen, this interaction that we're having right now. But we also want to make sure that these poets get a little bit of change, honey. Because change will change some things. Okay, a change is gonna come, and we want it in the tip jar. And so that is set up by PayPal me/button poetry. PayPal me dot paypal.me/button poetry. Okay. Y'all know how to use PayPal. Don't play with me. Just put button poetry in there, and the tip jar is already set up. It's going to go to the artist. We want to make sure that we do that. Also, Rachel Wiley is super generous. What she decided to do is to give away, to have a giveaway, period. And I'm just gonna really just slide off of this thing in a little bit and try to find out how I can get me like a free book or whatever. But Rachel Wiley is giving away two signed books. Giving away signed copies of both of the books, right? And that's Nothing is Okay and Fat Girl Finishing School, plus just in a button poetry journal. I mean, I just feel like how we get in this thing. Oh, how we get in is to enter. So all you have to do is donate any amount, any amount, and you get entered into the giveaway. And it's the virtual tip jar that we're looking at, the paypal.me/button poetry, right? You all gonna do that. You're gonna give us a little change now. Just a little bit or a lot of bit. Hashtag lot of bit. Okay, so are we ready for our very first opener that we have for you? Like, first of all, just like a quick sidebar, Ebo is my people. Like, we talk on a regular basis, so I get to just be like, Ebo. But let me go ahead and read you their bio, right? Ebo Barton comes from Salt. From the moment before worlds converge. In this world, we are still trying to articulate that mixed Black and Filipino, transgender and non-binary, queer artists and educators not only matter, but are precious. In other words, Barton is loved, safe, and valued. Oh, in another world. Y'all, first of all, I can read. I've been studying these bios. Don't play with me. Anywho, the only difference being that the latter is a path they must make themselves. You may have seen Ebo's work in Adrian issue 01 by Sibling Rivalry Press, Thriving While Trans, a Love Manual, Natasha Marin's Black Imagination, the King County Metro, and online on right about now, Button Poetry, because this is where we at, and all deaf poetry channels. In 2016, They placed 5th in the world at the Individual World Poetry Slam. In 2017, they co-wrote and co-produced the award-winning play Rising Up. In 2018, they played Invisible One in Anastasia Renee's Queer Mama Crosswords and reprised the role in 2019. A leader in the arts and activism and 2020 Jack Straw Writing Fellow, Ebo is committed to creating opportunities for others to organize, heal, and rejoice. From weekly open mics to curated shows like Alchemy Poetry with Ben Israel to educating across the country at various institutions, Barton's written, performative, and community work demands societal reckoning. I want them hearts to just go crazy, show a lot of love, maximum energy at the screen for Ebo Barton.
What's up, y'all? So excited to be here. Thank you for having me. We're here to celebrate Rachel Wiley's book release, so I'm really hyped about that. And thank you, Ebony. I love Ebony Stewart. Make some noise if you love Ebony Stewart, just in your homes. Just sit there and make noise for Ebony. Anyway, I'm going to read y'all some poems. I hope that y'all enjoy them. The first one is called Freedom Cut Me Loose. And it's inspired by Beyonce, because who's not inspired by Beyonce? You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna read this poem, and here it is. When I came out to my mother, her first reaction was to comment on the volume of my voice when I said transgender, as if being myself in public was not already loud. I lowered my voice. Do you reach adulthood when your parents' reactions to your unblossoming start to sound hollow like an empty cage? When you look into a mirror and discover you are the only and ugliest salvation your family ever inherited? Do you reach full-grown adulthood when your reflection rejects you in your second language? The language you kept safe in your back pocket is an exhausted compass that only points towards the ocean. What about respect for my elders means mute myself? Are you still an adult if you just want to go home? I learned that being free isn't what everyone wants, especially if you find custody convenient. And I know you think my gender makes you angry, that your Jesus did not die for this, but the truth is, my gender binds you to fear, uncovers your discomfort from seeing the rapture in my reach, these bare wrists. What about my freedom scares you? I named myself Ebo to worship the slave rebellion that drowned their captors, rose into the sky, turned into birds, and flew back home. Why would you deny me this worship? Why would you keep this story trapped in a book? But don't mistake me for fearless. It's taken me a whole lifetime to get back home, but I'm still willing to come back for you if you want to come. Jaden Smith's skirt, Billy Porter's entire wardrobe, Lizzo's exposed thong, Monroe Bergdorf's middle finger, Zaya Wade, Harriet Tubman, my beard, my pronouns, my lips blossoming on a shoulder blade. We are the efflorescence of eternal emancipation. Come with us. Before I leave, tell my mother I've uninstalled the whisper in my authentic. If you don't want to untie the knots of shame, trying to convince you compromises the wind, cradling my wings, so stay in bliss. But ask yourself, are you free, or are you conditioned to this captivity? Whatever the answer is, please, let me live. I just want to go home. Thank you very much. Cool. I'm going to keep on going. And just so you know, I'm reading out of my own book, which is called Insubordinate, and you can get it on my website, ebobarton.com. But I just want to throw that out there as a little shameless poet plug for anybody out there. But yeah, so I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to read you another poem called Prayer Response. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. I think we all need a prayer right now, right? Like whatever way that comes in, we all need a prayer right now. So shout out to anybody that is incorporating some type of prayer. And it doesn't have to be to the Bible God. It could be a different one, or a collection of them, or ancestors, or universes, or whatever. But yeah, so I think we all need a prayer right now. My religious aunt recalls a family tragedy in a car ride. The story spills out of her mouth like a communion wine. We had just come from dinner, so it felt appropriate to drink her every word. Her expensive name brand purse, her pulpit, she ends her sermon by saying, "It shows you the power of the hand of God." My family members are humbly moved out of their minivan bench. My uncle nods from the front seat. Even Santo Nino bobbles in approval from the dashboard. The rear view rosary swaying like a desperation prayer. And my universe stone and sage burning queer moody self wants to sigh holy breath. But I realized you can't tell anyone how to worship. My aunt, an unrecognized God herself, speaks as if Jesus is her own son, perpetually surviving and mourning the death of actual Jesus and her actual son, this fiery hell of a family of ours. How can she not see the God in herself? How is that she is not the church's focal point? Why do our knees not buckle in prayer as she enters the room? As if we don't call her first before praying to whatever is up there. And maybe we don't want to give the ending away. Maybe this is what the answer has been all along, but maybe it's also why I've never seen myself as holy, why I've ripped my body into pieces and offered it up as a sacrifice to my relationships, while I've told lovers I'm not even worth praying for, let alone pray to. I may have never flooded the earth or banished curious fruit pickers from my garden, but I have made an overdrawn bank account pay for wine to heal myself. I've swam in the deepest end, drowned, died, and resurrected, and no one even noticed on work on Monday. And isn't that godlike? I've untangled myself from my stepbrother's grip, ran 1,500 miles north, nearly lost myself in the Pacific Ocean, and still came out with some pretty fly shoes. My God. And there is no book about me, no commandments I'd list to get into my arms, no cross to carry, no stained glass summaries of the tragedies of my life, dear God. And by God, I mean you, I mean Tita Tessie, I mean Safeway cashier, I mean nightlife dancer, I mean single mother, I mean person at the bus stop, I mean underpaid, underappreciated, exploited, aggressive youth, any sense. I mean me, dear me. Look how far you've come in creation. The power of your hand is your breath is the prayer and the response. Thank you. All right, cool. I just want y'all to know that I'm reading poems and stuff, and they're all kind of sad, but like I didn't become a poet because I'm happy. So like, can we hold the complexity of those things? Okay, just want to make sure. Cool. Great. I am going to read another poem because that's what I was here for. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to, read poems. But yeah, I'm going to do a poem called A Litany for Not Surviving Nonprofits. So if you're out there and you are not feeling like you are surviving nonprofits, this is for you. And it's after A Litany for Survival by Audre Lorde. It's your favorite queer person's favorite thing to Instagram, right? Is a quote from Audre Lorde. So here you go. For those of us who live on the cliffs of not making rent, side hustle professionals while watching our brown faces and the faces of brown children we want nothing more than to protect be sold to white funders for the paycheck and conscious of people who refuse to even see us. And even despite this, we hashtag love our jobs, stay up late, talking brilliant young people from ledges, come up with reasons to talk ourselves from ledges while directors, board members, institutional staff, white supremacy parish members sleep soundly to the tune of six-figure salaries and clout lullabies with their beautiful families that they have the choice to make. Say, come up with reasons to talk ourselves from ledges. I'm pausing a little bit because I want y'all to say it out loud in wherever you are. So I'm just going to say it again so that y'all know how to do it. Okay. Say, come up with reasons to talk ourselves from ledges. For those of us who have been told we say too much, we are not patient enough, we do not get it, we do not know, when we are the grown-up versions of the very children they claim to be saving. Say, we are the grown-up versions of the very children they claim to be saving. When nonprofit says community, what they mean is picture for a poster. When we say community, what we mean is a child whose mother I know, that we are not interested in saving, but helping them see themselves as worthy of more than a speech and a fundraiser. Say we. When nonprofit says nonprofit, nonprofit means nothing that truly makes change. Nonprofit means I must sacrifice myself to prove our commitment to people who already know my commitment so that nonprofit can co-opt my commitment for its mission statement. When nonprofit says nonprofit, nonprofit means we gain nothing. Nonprofit means we gain nothing, and nonprofit gains a shiny white badge of complicit for their annual report. Say complicit. Where is the spreadsheet that proves my production, paid in pennies, in sacrifice, in meetings that could have been emails, in swallowing my shame from white women's carelessness, from able-bodied bliss, from men's needless philosophies, from cis resistance to be told anything about themselves because someone had the time, had the expensive education, the double income, the privilege to get pregnant again. Say privilege. For those of us who want nothing more than anyone at a staff meeting to stop fucking talking about themselves for 2 minutes to notice what it takes for some of us to even make it to this table that you did not build for us to be at, but here we are anyway. Remember, this whole system was never meant for us to survive it. Say, this whole system was never meant for us to survive it. When you go home and the lights don't turn on, the fear is that the bill has gone unpaid too long. When you make sure to pack unseasoned and mediocre food from a potluck retreat with no results, the fear is that this is all you will eat until payday and still come up empty. When you finally speak up, if you choose to do so, and you are tagged insubordinate, as if insubordinate isn't what you are made of. When you are Black, you are insubordinate. When you are non-binary, you are insubordinate. When you are queer, you are insubordinate. Say, to whom? And you are forced to resign, quit quietly, stop being up, terminated. Remember, this whole system was never meant for us to survive it. Thank you so much. I have one more poem for you. Please follow me on the Instagram, and you can actually hear my age because I've said the Instagram in that. So, but this poem is called Mistakes. There's a lot of messed up things happening in this world right now, and I think that we all have to have a little grace for ourselves in making some mistakes and acknowledging those mistakes, naming them, and then apologizing for them and moving differently going forward. And I like y'all. That's all I have to say. So this poem is called Mistakes. Shout out to Cheryl for this poem. I have traveled in and out of the Pacific Ocean, across this wretchedly beautiful fuckery of borders we call country, been to love, but never through it, 2 puberties, a library wall filled with unfinished books on heartbreak, about 13, maybe 14 breakdowns and only 2 breakthroughs. And I've driven about 1 million more internet miles to come here to this gallery of skeletons from out of the weather of raining expectations and unpredictions to tell all of you, make a fucking mistake. I watched a Facebook video wherein the bass drummer of an orchestra hit his note with so much passion, the drum mallet flew from his hands and hit the triangle player square in the face. The song never missed a note, but I imagine in another dimension, that woman yelled, "Fuck," so loudly, it bounced off the walls of the amphitheater and into the mouths of the pearl necklace wealthy white women, and fuck, 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 fuck became the best remix the symphony has ever heard. My mother is not as out of her mind as I make her out to be, probably. But she had to have been, to have created an offspring with the man I'm supposed to call father on purpose. And see, that makes me a mistake. But look at what this mistake can do. Look how many lives I've lived. Look how many people can love me. Look, I can learn and change and grow and evolve. Look at the moon. I've read somewhere that a former planet shoulder checked a piece of our planet, and that piece got captured in orbit. We call her the moon. And I think that she had the opportunity to roam the entire universe, but she fell so in love with our faces that she committed her body to be on night watch for eternity. Tell me you can't find the beauty in mistakes. I've lost a lot of friends, life, sanity, time, making mistakes, but I can only hope that I walk this life differently because of them. Next time, I will be so much better, I promise. Tomorrow, I will stand in front of a woman I've never even felt worthy of looking at. She pays all of her bills, like all of them, on time. And she wakes up early to like go to the gym or something. And she makes her mama proud. And I will say, make a mistake with me. I've lived on this broken piece of rock for 37 years, and I've never been right about anything. So why would I be right about you? But come with me. We'll spill our combined traumas on each other's shirts. Let's feel really uncomfortable about what we said out loud. Let's go to the wrong airport on the wrong day and still get on the plane when it's actually time. To err is human. So let's be so human. Our flesh thinks of mess up. It'll be my fault, your bad, and our misstep. And let's just do better next time. I'm sorry in advance for tripping on you. I'm sorry if my drumstick hits your face, but the beat is different now. And fuck, it's beautiful. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Rachel. Appreciate y'all so much.
That was none other than Ebo Barton, right? Yo, give it up for that poet one time, for the one time. You know, also another way that you could give it up for them is you can visit that virtual tip jar. If you're just joining us, this is the Button Poetry book release for none other than Rachel Wiley for Fat Girl Finishing School and Nothing is Okay. So, anywho, we're going to keep it moving. And I'm going to introduce you to your next artist. Just real quick, in case you want to go ahead and get your PayPal pulled up on your other tab or on your phone, you can go to paypal.me/button poetry. Just, you know what I'm saying? Do this, do that in a tip jar. Okay, anywho, Golden uses pronouns they, them, is a Black, gender, non-conforming, trans femme photographer and poet raised in Hampton, Virginia, currently residing in Boston, Massachusetts. Golden is the recipient of a Pink Door Fellowship and Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum Luminary Fellowship, the Frontier Award for New Poets, and a Pushcart nomination. Yo, their work has been featured on at The Shade Journal, The Offing, Wildness, Button Poetry, you know that's where we at. BuzzFeed, ID, Interview Magazine, and elsewhere. Golden holds a BFA in photography from New York University and is currently a City of Boston artist in residence. Real quick, as a sidebar, Golden is my Golden. They are, yo, amazing seems low-key like kind of lame to use, but I'm just gonna say, be prepared to be amazed by none other than Golden.
Can everyone hear me? Am I here? Am I good? Good. Thank you so much for having me. I just can't. I want to start first and foremost to say thank you to Rachel Wiley for having me here. I'm so excited to be welcoming in this book with you, and I feel so honored to be asked to, I know, open up your wonderful book release. And so thank you so much for having me, and thank you Button Poetry for having me. Shout out to Ebony. Thank you for those words. Wow, like, I'm so touched. So I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna do, I think, like 3 or 4 poems for you all. I'll see how I'm doing on time. So I'll start off with this poem. The low down nigga calls my glow a faggot. He think he a sharpshooter, darting at me with all this teethless talk. But I sink the way he comes out at night. A base jaw ajar waiting for slobber, pants at his ankles. His body molts when I ain't one of his quiet toys. When I been just inside the grasp of his frame, there ain't no surprise why he don't pull out his knot and stretch me over his gizzard mouth. Low down niggas love to call me out my name. Forget they chase me round the block, hunt me down in their bedrooms. He says grown like he knows what that is. He licked the static off my shine last week and head in high praise as my nectar dribbled down his throat. I can still smell my dew on his hardwood floors, on his burlap altar, on his blasphemous teeth. He claims to know me better than my shadow does. I made a son from my shade, and this nigga ain't never been my daddy. He ain't even been the perspiration on Jesus' brow. A nigga puts his mouth on your spout and thinks he becomes what you prayed for. Forgets I defy gravity. Forgets I push the air when I slide in the room. Forgets I love to tell God what he didn't do right the first time. I never swallow to live. I dirty wine with the moon and sun shower me in golden orchards when their bones are stiff and ripe. You wish you could annihilate me. Split me down the arc of my spine, but I the fetish boys try to wash off their third eye. I make them flaming flamingo, scorched banshee, howling martini, a bursting driftwood, throat deep like mine. I am that nigga with no hunger, that bitch who lives past dusk and dirt. Woo! I love a little clapback poem to start us off. You know, that's really my jam. That's how I really get into it. I just think that that's always like, I don't know, I'm always trying to like bring in my most confident self in the beginning, and then we'll get more vulnerable, but I always like to love a clapback poem, how to set them straight with that one, you know? I think that like the word faggot has been used a lot, I mean, throughout my life, and I think that that poem in particular was about like taking a time where I felt really low and trying to figure out the way that I can remember who I was. And I think that sometimes poems can do that for you. So I'm just gonna get right into the next poem. If you know me, I love for poems. I love writing poems for people, and I also love writing poems about my family. And so this summer, this is also all like mostly new stuff. That was an older poem, but the rest of the stuff is gonna be new. So I'm just gonna read this poem. This poem is called Twin. Twin for twin. Bitch, you aren't improper to love. You are impossible to gun without the world watching me turn to genocide. I'd be a criminal for life sentences, say less if they want me to prove it. This nation knows not what it birthed. Beasts have human etymologies. Even evil sounds treasonous to our tread. They've only seen vibrations of hell, only seen victims as ghosts. Twins be omniscient like light. My hands travel area codes, speak to tongues. We be God cause we worship intravenously. Once I dreamt you tuned and decided enough trying to breathe kneeling, to convince humans to human, mothers to mother, own womb warrior, or worse, sisters separated. Even our family don't want us talking about childhood loss, about our country lessons. Even our brother don't want us at war without him. Fear faces every photo of us at Granny's house. We say we ratchet so people can hold the weight of our weapons preamble. Oh, say, can you see the warning? The wishing for this end to be psychology? What if therapists apologize? What if healing could horizon home? I give giving up. I give speeches to the sky. There will be no here left after your heaven. safe this world would be. Thank you. Wow, it's always a little, a little awkward to be like on the other side of this, but I feel like very held right now for some reason. I feel like I'm in good company, and I think that I'm really grateful to be in a space and to just, I don't know, I feel like sometimes when like in quarantine, some of these like performances bring you close to the community that you otherwise will see throughout the year. So thank y'all for rocking with me and for listening to these poems. I got 2 more for y'all. I'm gonna do a couple more. This poem is called Family Portrait with Ancestors. Have you ever sliced through a watermelon wound and watched your family suck all the red out? Twin tends to the rind. Mom salivates salt and guards the seeds. Dad beats the bleeds out of our t-shirts. Cam brings pails of hot holy water to raw rinse the deck. We all knife our wounds, smile until summer gives us our childhood back. This is how we vacation. Backyard carcasses and lobotomies. It's all we have time for. Grief candies our hands. We try to clean God's cadavers alone. It's triggering the way the fruit of all countries fall to the back of our throats, then fly up black and familiar. My family says they are shields hidden in our palms. We hold each other's forts. I think they mean all scars that feed us. Even love, even red tears can be a weapon or a trial if you don't let the water free. Okay, we're gonna take a deep breath in, then out, in, out. I always like to do a little deep breath in the middle of when I'm doing poems because I feel like it's always a lot of things like moving. And I think that sometimes we're like processing, sometimes the last poem, processing this moment. And I always like to just do it. It's something I always do. So again, thank y'all so much for listening. And thank you, Rachel, for having me. This is gonna be my last poem. And I'm excited to just kick back and watch this amazing set and also order my book, I can't wait. So I'm just gonna do this last poem. Thank you again. This poem is called Maybe I Don't Need Wings. And maybe at the gates, I need no one by me. And maybe everyone is no one mothering my palms into wings. Maybe I don't need wings to remember myself loved. Or maybe I need angel ancestors or anchor ankles to remember I lift when I hear my brother's accent in my mouth. Maybe every love has left a licorice lesion shaped like a door. Or every lover has left a lost lesson shaped like a mirror. Maybe gates are a door, and the door is a captain, and the captain is a weapon, and the weapon is God, and maybe not, and maybe yes. Maybe weapons are loyal, meaning bloodbound, meaning subjective servant, meaning tyrant teetering. Maybe words betray the blood, and what the brain thinks it knows, and maybe cells are the brain engine, the heart breath. Betrayal may be the anatomy of death or synonym for set free. Maybe mother friends, them sisters, day one niggas know how men have been, so they name their children after poisons, marigold, glory, cathedrals. Maybe that's why we call our friends bitches, shooters, hitters, anything after what fraught families have hidden under their tongues, under their mattresses, and maybe we were never women, but the father. Maybe mother is to be a flock of fathers who know they were the one before beginning, before boys' genesis, and maybe being a man means remembering for a lifetime that you've been mothered. Maybe, and maybe something better than now. Maybe we've been better the now, but maybe we are wings. Maybe we've always been a captain, blood-bound, doors shaped like gates, and maybe we are loyal weapons. Thank you. That's it from me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm just gonna sit back now, get my popcorn, and watch the rest of this beautiful set. So thank you all so much.
Wow, give it up for Golden. Oh my goodness, look how they shine. Yo, Golden is, what did I tell you? Amazing, right? You know, you can also just show your love to Golden through the virtual tip jar. We've had Ebo Barton, we just heard from Golden. You know, you don't gotta do much. You could just visit the virtual tip jar. That's what you could do. But you know what I mean? We got like the main attraction. If you're just tuning in, my name is Ebony Stewart, and this is the Button Poetry book release for none other than Rachel Wiley, right? And I just want to make sure to repeat this information just in case people missed it. We are actually doing a giveaway. Rachel Wiley said, you know what, I want to do a book giveaway. I want to give some books away, some signed copies and whatnot for both of my books. And I was like, that's what's up. And then Button Poetry was like, we'll see you one and raise you this Button Poetry journal. And I'm like, yes, come through, people. Come through. So we also have a $5 off coupon that is available. You just go to the Button Poetry website, get all of your goods. The really cool thing is that you're going to get a chance to hear Rachel Wiley, right? And one of the best things about being able to hear a poet read their work is that you get their voice in your head for how that poem sounds, right? And so now when you're reading it, you can kind of like mimic and go back to that moment and really get into the groove of this thing. It do something to you. Let me tell you, it do something to you. But this is the thing. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you all to Rachel Wiley because that's who we're here to see and big up and love on. So real quick, there's the $5 off coupon. You need to use Wiley 5, Wiley 5, WILEY 5. Here we go. Rachel Wiley is a queer biracial poet and performer from Columbus, Ohio. She is a fellow and faculty member of the Pink Door Writing Retreat held annually for women and non-binary writers of color in upstate New York. She is the author of 2 full-length poetry collections, Fat Girl Finishing School and Nothing Is Okay, published by Button Poetry. I dare you right now to get up out your seat and just do a little twerk dance. Maybe you don't have no booty, right? So you can just, you know what I'm saying, pop your shoulders one time for the good time. You know what I mean? Get your thing on. I don't know what you got to do, but just give so much love, so much energy and encouragement to the beautiful Rachel Wiley.
Am I on? Okay. All right. Let's see. Whew. Well, I might have shot myself in the foot with those with those openers. Thank you, Golden. Thank you, Ebo, for agreeing to do this. I adore y'all. Ebony, I couldn't ask for a better host. Button, y'all know I love y'all. Y'all know I mess with y'all. Did y'all see the slide with my picture on it? Didn't it just look like my titties was just sitting on that music stand? That was fun. That was the last time I was in Minnesota, I think. Anyways, yeah, let's do this. Let's do some poems. I'll read a few, of course, from the book with its amazing new cover. I wrote a foreword that was not in the original. This book was originally published in 2014 by Timber Mouse Press. I believe Ebony also has a book on Timber Mouse Press. But I wanted to have, both my babies in one house, and Button said yes. So we got it a new cover and a foreword and some edits and some stuff that I learned through the process of publishing the book the first time around. So thanks to Button for generally just letting me be like, hey, I want to do a thing. And they're usually like, sure, Rach. That's a thing I appreciate. So let's kick it off, right? This is called Naked Atonement. Darling body, whole body, the parts so often unnamed, untouched, avoided, are all parts of you. The back fat, the double chin, the upper arm flab, the rolls, the stretch, the calloused feet, the dimpled thighs, all of it. I promise to stop letting selfish mouths who do not kiss our belly into our bed. Let no man bury his shame inside us. Let no woman whisper her fears into our thighs. You are not a bank for the discontentment of others. You belong to a bold heart. I waited until I caught wind of some stranger in Binghamton, New York, throwing their head back under a street lamp and yelling, "Fat women is sexy," before I allowed myself to walk naked through my own apartment here in Columbus, Ohio, and I am sorry for that. I'm sorry for wearing cardigans in the summer to hide my upper arms. I'm sorry for staying half clothed during sex in my own bed. I'm sorry for still not buying you that pencil skirt. I need no one's green light to love you but my own. And from here on out, it's gonna be all emerald brilliance and go, go, go. You deserve a love letter without a razor blade on the roof of its mouth, or a file baked into its sweet. One I need not wear bulletproof and heavy, and delivered to you dented with anger of others. A love that need not be defiant, one that can sit with its back to the windows unworried. You are deserving of war cries and soft love both, of gentle hands and unbracing. Ew, ew, ew. Yeah, some of the poems in this book came from a project I did with the incredible Denise Jolly years ago, where we wrote love letters to our bodies for a month. And that was, I think, a couple of those smushed together. It's really hard not to look at the chat. I liked being on the chat earlier, but I can't look at it now. I have to actively train myself not to look at it right now. But I'm excited to talk to people. I live in this studio apartment by myself. So here's an older one. Well, they're all old ones from this book. How to Become a Heretic. So a little behind this, I was in just a little bit of a cult for a little while in my early 20s. It was really one of those, wild mega churches. Sometimes when your parents are super liberal, you kind of go the other way with your rebellion. So I feel like maybe winding up in this church was some like backwards ass rebellion shit. Anyway, how to become a heretic. It is harder to get out than to stay out. Mark Twain. Even though the house is emptier than you planned, you are still tiptoeing through it. A swarm of telltale eggshells scuttling underfoot. The voices in the kitchen having all gone to gossip, a cackle of smudgeless faces upturned to heaven. You are a petty midnight burglar on a Sunday morning, coaxing down a flock of frightened prayers from the hall closet, tucking them safely behind your teeth. This is how it feels right before you become a heretic and must leave for the last time with only what you can fit into your pockets. The boxes all packed and smuggled out the back door, one by one in secret over weeks and the passing of plagues. The china swaddled in newspaper for the husband they deemed you too heathen for, and then served your ringless fingers to a woman with softer teeth and stronger faith. The blankets all left in a solemn herd when they gave away your children and reproached you for your vacant womb. A steeple with no bell, they called you. Each one of the kitchen knives slid out under the door when you felt a congregation of arms unwinding from your unrepentant frame, the unknitting of the most pious sweater. At last, your great-grandmother's 45s rode out on your hips when the fire in your chest that you named faith, but they called devil, kept setting off the smoke alarms. So you went ahead and took those two for its screeching and honest tambourine song. This is why God sounds like evacuation to you. Why tongues heavy in gold leaf are not to be trusted. Why you can stand on valleys of angry match heads in bare feet without flinching. This is what it feels like to become a heretic, a churchless hymnal, a hungry and blasphemous child to push heaven's baptismal rain back into the sky and say, no, I have earned each one of my sins, and I will keep them. Ew, ew, ew. I have to make my own noise after poems because, you know, the cat won't do it. I asked, she just walked away because, I mean, that's how cats answer shit because they're rude. Did you know? So Sam Sachs, of all people, he told me he doesn't like cats because they domesticated themselves. I personally look up to that. That's the kind of scam I want to run one day. So Amy Winehouse's birthday was, I think, earlier this week. There was a lot of posting for Amy Winehouse. When I left the church, cult, whatever you want to call it, Amy Winehouse's album at the time, the one that was Back to Black, it was sort of my soundtrack. It was kind of like she helped me. She helped me get away. She helped me feel okay about walking away from this thing that everyone said was good for me. So I felt a weird kinship with Amy Winehouse after that. And just generally, I don't know, I learned how to do my eyeliner from her. Because when she was popular, it didn't have to be like this neat. So shout out to her on that too. Poem for Amy Winehouse. I could never do what you did, girl. Could never sing, girl, like swallowed sidewalks and iron gates, their jagged edges dragging down the soft spaces in hopes of coughing up some Billie Holiday-like soul. I ended up instead with blood and spit in my hands. Could never bead string notes from the gravel in my palms, girl, not like you. Never so blue, never so black and blue, girl, not like you. They'll all say that they saw you going, girl, but not one of them saw you coming. When that hummingbird moved into your heart, it was because you were holding nectar, girl. Sweet, slow, soul-dripping nectar from your chest, girl. Your throat shouldn't have known how to sing whiskey like that, girl. Record needle between the toes like you, girl. Your grooves, girl, they fit me, girl. They swing me, girl. Bloomed orchids in my lungs, girl. Your ribs whining like cemetery gates. Howling ghosts and singing shovels, girl, they'll say they saw you going. I could never do what you did. Never reach with my vocal cords, tentacle grasping at air for busted heart understanding, for applause, girl, for you are pretty, girl, for you are enough, girl, for someone to hold you in place from dissolving, girl. Never so much broken glass in the hinge of my jaw. Not like you. Girl, they're all saying they saw you going. I'm sorry, your nets only pulled in dead fish with flashbulb eyes to take pictures of your failings, to photograph your razor blade collarbones. to zoom in on the tube tracks in your arms. I'm sorry they made you a silent film with separate soundtrack. Girl, they're all saying that they saw you going. So blue, girl. So very, very blue, girl. I could never sing like you. And I never did see you going. All right, let's read some newer stuff. I don't even know how I'm doing on time. I don't really care. I'm gonna just read till I don't want to read anymore. How about that? But be sure to hit up that virtual tip jar. You can be entered to win the package of, signed books and a lush button poetry journal. They're very nice. I have one. This is short. Pierogi. At a bar in Cleveland, Ohio, I am urged to order pierogies for the first time, and they are brought to me still cold in the center. While the table is aghast at the kitchen's massive Midwest faux pas, I cannot help a wry smile for the sad lumps of mashed potato wrapped in pastry, trying its hardest to be appetizing. I nearly confuse them for my own lonely heart. I shouldn't do that. It's just never not weird reading alone. I don't ever pick my set list. I just pick poems I might want to read and pile them in front of me. So that's what I have. All right. Heavy. If it's too personal, he says, you can tell me to shut up. But have you always been heavy? I smile at his question the way I often do when someone tiptoes around the word fat, like its bones are made of damp packed sugar. His avoidance, a reminder that I once also refused to say this word for fear of making it too real, somehow permanent, some incantation of shame. The man asking me this question is in my water aerobics class at the YMCA. Every Monday and Wednesday, we meet here to lunge and to jump and to kick against the water, tantruming our bodies against it in the name of exercise. He asks me this question with his eyes fixed on a man 2 lanes over, standing on the lip of the pool, a well-oiled wind-up toy of muscle and sinew preparing for a dive. My workout partner tells me he used to have a body like that, and watches the swimmer like the arrival of a lover finally home from a long war, who walked past him and into the arms of another. I don't know this particular longing. I have been fat nearly my entire life, buoyant, though not an especially strong swimmer. I have longed for many people, none of them previous, smaller versions of me. I have stared at smaller bodies and wondered what it might feel like to move through the world, not so much like a steamship in a hostile canal, but I always return to my substantial and loyal body and the cargo of necessary that it hauls around. So yesterday marked 2 years since I adopted my cat, the legendary Meowce cat hair. But some of you might remember that I had a cat before that named Clementine. And I had that cat for 13 years. I wrote a poem to her about my impending spinsterhood and all of that. She passed 2 years ago in August. But this is a poem I wrote for her. It takes me a while. I live on a bit of a Skype delay, so feelings gotta like process and set like a Jello mold. This is called Dreadful Sorry, Clementine. September showed up on time, but summer refused to give up its seat. The first Saturday without you in 13 years, a sweating man brought me a wooden box of ashes bearing your name etched in gold. The cicadas have started to creep into the house between the gaps of the window screens, without you here to hunt them and kill them and leave their headless bodies at the top of the stairs for me as an offering. For your homegoing, I trapped and trained a choir of the otherworldly insects to sing Queen's fat-bottom girls in tribute to your well-fed memory. And then I gathered up all of the neighborhood squirrels who relinquished the tops of their tails to your teeth and got them to march across the roof, a procession of furry flags flying at half-mast. And then I put on my nicest black dress and rolled on the carpet still covered in your loose fur. I could not bring myself to give it up to the vacuum's greedy mouth. The longest you ever let me hold you in all of our time together was that final day in the vet's office. I begged your gold sedated eyes to forgive that I could not stay to witness you to the very last heartbeat. They told me a wretched dampness had gathered in your lungs, an underhanded flash flood that swept you away. I'm so sorry, but I did not see it coming. I would have fought it back with my own fists and every ounce of my magic if I had. I hope everybody's all right, doing okay. Well, let's keep it moving. I don't even know. How much time do I have left? Somebody tell me in the Zoom window. I'll be a little petty for a minute, maybe. Yeah. Ghost me, and I'll write your eulogy. I think it was the great rapper Cardi B who said it best when she said, if you got a problem with me, say it now, because I don't want to hear no sneak dissing, especially not from none of you weak bitches. Today we gather to lay to rest a double-mouthed face, one who came from a land of salt and ice, a person I called dearest and even best friend. Same one I fed, same one I rooted for and trusted, who I welcomed into my home, even threw a party for, where I carpeted the floor in balloons filled nearly to bursting with my own precious breath. Same one I made space for at every table I was invited to and halved my portion with them. Someone who kept fires lit in the rain with me, who shared holidays and heartaches with not knowing, never suspecting that all along they were incubating a virus of resentment. I did not see at first the way they thrived best when my heart was foreclosed, liked me best at my most shattered, danced best to the clatter of my broken. How thoughtless I was to knit my bones and deprive them of their music. They slipped from this world on their own stilled tongue after they reached for some shine that was not theirs, got burnt, and chose to blame the shine for this rather than their own entitled hands. They are survived by little more than their own relentless mediocrity and some mountains that never claimed them back anyway. Today, we say a final goodbye to a false-bottom friend who was swallowed whole by a green and bitter moss. Their body will be interned to a planter's field among promise breakers, liars, back climbers, cowards, and the other various rotting disloyal. Perhaps not literally dead, but very much gone, very much below me. Hurt to hurt, acid to acid, trust to dust. Okay, so we're doing good on time. I think I'll do like, I don't know, 2 more and then we'll call it. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Now I have to find the 2 I want to do real quick. See, this is what happens when you're not an organized human being. This shit right here. Like, I had a new poem that I finished editing last night that I was gonna read, and now I can't find that shit. Pitiful, y'all. Pitiful. Also, if you've already read my book, either of them, do me a big favor. You know, I'm always asking for favors. Go ahead and review it somewhere, anywhere, somewhere. Here's the new poem. All right, we're gonna read this. It's brand new, so you know, don't hate on me too hard. Questionnaire for future potential partners. If you were a Beyonce song, which one would you be? Please explain your answer. Do you now, or have you ever worn a fedora unironically? If yes, please note the year and provide photos. If I ask for an item in my purse, do you bring me my purse or the item from my purse? Will you be checking any baggage? Will you be checking your ego? Tell me about the last time you ugly cried. On a scale of Joan Crawford to Claire Huxtable, what is your relationship with your mother like? Is there such a thing as too many pillows? Are you an extrovert or a people pleaser? Are you an introvert or a control freak? Do you now or have you ever weaponized silence? Describe a time for me that you bucked the white supremacist patriarchy. What font do you apologize in? Do you love femmes or just femme label? What are you afraid of? How much does your fear run you? Where does your worth live? If I show you all of the delicate parts of myself I have ransomed back from this ungentle world, will you treat it like A, a weakness, B, a commodity, C, the most powerful part of me? Please be sure to show your work. So a bitch is single. If anybody was thinking about sliding in my DMs, I don't know. I'm bored. I'm at home. So if you're trying to, I might flirt with you. I don't know. And yes, the correct answer is that you bring the purse from the other room. Always. Don't get in my purse. Don't put your hand in my purse. I don't care where else your hand has been. It should never go up in my purse unless I am incapacitated in some way. Let's do a spell. Let's end it all with a spell. Not it all, but the reading. It's gonna be a spell. It's a counter curse for witches with unsettled spirits riding their shoulders. When the backlog of blood ghosts grows too persistent, too aggressive in their attempts to collect on the debts you owe, focus. Focus on the lungs, on their bud and bloom. Slow the heart back into time. Smoke the angry bees in your honeycomb head calm. Coax the lying stingers from under your skin. Their venom, it doesn't dance through you. It never did. None of it was ever true. It was never true. It was never true. Everything here, everything in you is honey. Sweet, slow, golden enough to pay the greedy specters off. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It means a lot to me, especially right now in these super isolating times. Please remember to reach out to people, reach out to your friends, tell strangers if their work affects you. They might read it. I don't know. I personally can't read all of my stuff, but I try. But you know, isolation is a form of torture. So make sure you're not torturing yourself. Make sure you're staying well as you can. Make sure you're staying hydrated, even when you're just at home. Make sure when you go out, you wear a mask. I would hope there's no anti-maskers around here, but if so, I'll tell you. You can follow me on the Instagrams under Dangerously in Chubb, or you can just search for Rachel Wiley. I think you'll find me. That's where I am at the most. I don't mess with Facebook. I don't really Twitter, but you can holler at me on the gram. If you play Animal Crossing, let's swap codes and visit each other's islands. And books, I'm being prompted to show off the books. Do I have them both? I do. So you can get them. Look how cute they are together. Shout out to Amy Law, my my cover artist, who does amazing work. She's incredible. Shout out again to Ebo, to Golden, to Ebony, who next time we are on a feed, I would like to hear poems from. Thank you. All right, I think that's it for me. Thanks so much again. Take care. Good night. Let's be friends.
Oh my gosh, that was none other than Rachel Wiley. Oh my goodness, y'all. I know that you're clapping. I know you're stomping. I know you're rolling around on the ground. I know you're feeling just really, really good and lifted. Yo, did y'all check that fat bitch chain though? Yo, I need to give me one of those skinny legend ones. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, like that was Rachel Wiley promoting and releasing the book Nothing is Okay and Fat Girl Finishing School. That's, you know, it's available. You can just go ahead and go get it. You can go to buttonpoetry.com right now and get it. But say you want a $5 off coupon, you know what I'm saying? Because people like gifts, right? Just put in Wiley5, Wiley5, WILEY5. Also, if you give any amount in the tip jar, you will actually be entered into the Rachel Wiley giveaway, right? And so that's a bundle with both books and I think it's a journal that Button Poetry is giving to anyone that just, you know what I'm saying, enters, but you gotta like be a part of the tip jar situation. You see how it works? Give a little bit to get a little bit. Now we all working together. Yo, I just want to shout out one time for the one time, Ebo Barton, Golden, my Golden. And also just like Button Poetry, right? Because this has been a Button Poetry event for the book release, Nothing is Okay, and Fat Girl Finishing School for Rachel Wiley. My name is Ebony Stewart. Thank you all so very much. Please head over to buttonpoetry.com, get these books.